Okay, hello. Latest installment of my little Arduino messing arounds. This is a nice little circuit and program using a temperature sensor. So I'm going to talk about the temperature sensor and also a little bit about libraries, which are very interesting. I'll show you what the program's doing first of all. So let's start with the most important thing. That little yoke there is a little temperature sensor. Okay, hooked up to the circuit board, hooked up to the Arduino, obviously, and it's taking readings at the moment, coming in through the serial monitor. So what have we got? 22 Celsius, 72 Fahrenheit-ish. So hardly tropical, but it's actually quite a nice sunny day here in Dublin. So yeah, the ambient temperature is in the room is around about 22. Not too bad. What I've done is I've set up a temperature threshold so that anywhere above 20 degrees Celsius, the lovely little warm light is on. However, if, this is immersible by the way, if I drop that into some cold water, okay, and it drops, green light goes on. Okay, so as soon as it drops below 20 degrees Celsius, you can see it's around about 17, 18 at the moment. It flips over to the green light, and when it goes back up above 20, the red light comes on. So it's kind of like a thermostat, I guess. I'll just hold it in my hand. And there we go, it's gone above 20. Okay, I'm back in the water. Drop. And there we go, we've gone back below. So it works anyway, which is the most important thing. So it's kind of that's like a prototype thermostat almost, or a warning light. Have something, I don't know, maybe like a fridge or something that's too hot or whatever. Oops. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that, but mainly I want to talk about libraries, because to get this yoke, which is Dublin for thing, to get this thing working, I had to download and install some special libraries to get that working, which is maybe the most interesting thing in the program. It's basically an if-else statement which is controlling everything else. So where to begin? Well, I've did a probably quite a messy little breadboard circuit. Where's it gone? There we go. Just so you can see how the circuit's set up. So I'm very wobbly there. So we basically got our two LEDs here. I just put two red. I should have a red and a green, I suppose. That's the green one there. Just a fairly standard circuit coming through those. The temperature sensor is over here. Okay. Most importantly, the data pin is going into 2. Okay, it's always a bit easier to show you stuff on fritzing breadboard layouts than on the actual circuit board itself, but trust me, that is basically the same as that, only not quite as neat. So yeah, libraries, basically this little temperature sensor, where am I going to go here, won't work in the Arduino unless you go and get a library for it. So I know that it is a Dallas DS18B20, very snappy little name. So all I did is I Google searched Arduino library, okay, because I need some special code libraries to get it to work. Now I looked through a couple of these links. When I got down to the third one, I was quite happy. It's on Hobbytronics. Is the hobbytronics.co.uk anyway. I like this one because it first of all gave me access to go and download the library, which I'll talk about in a moment. It told me that I needed 2 libraries to get this working, again, which I'll talk about in a moment. But it told me a little bit about the temperature sensor itself. It gave me a simple little circuit which I kind of added to a little bit, and it gave me a nice bit of code which again I kind of adopted and added to. It's very useful. It even gave me what I should see in my serial monitor screen, so all very handy. So thank you very much for that. So yeah, basically that link there gave me one of the libraries which you just download and it goes into your download folder. But the other one which I need, just showing you now. It tells me that I need DallasTemperature and OneWire. Now the link on the page I think just got me the DallasTemperature, but I knew that from looking previously. I kind of knew that I could access the other library through help reference on the Arduino, which I'm not connected to the internet right here at the moment, so I already have it open, which takes me obviously to the Arduino reference section. And when you're on the reference section, I think you straight away go into the language section usually, but if you click on libraries, okay, it first of all has standard libraries which kind of download, they're part of your Arduino IDE. They're what we're updating whenever you get that little screen that pops up and says updating libraries or whatever. And there's a few different types of libraries in there. I'm not going to go into all of them, but under contributed libraries, okay, basically contributed means that you have to download and install them yourself. I found a little fella there, OneWire, okay, Dallas Semiconductor. So as I said, from the previous page I knew that I needed that one. So I basically downloaded both of those, and they obviously go into your downloads folder, and all you need to do then is basically go to your Arduino folder, wherever you save all your code, and you'll have a libraries folder, which if you haven't actually downloaded anything will be empty. But if I click in there, we can see we've got DallasTemperature and OneWire, okay, and that's basically all the code that's all the functions and all the code that's gonna get this bad boy to work. And I can then include those in my sketch and get things working, okay. I kind of got into all that through another little tutorial I was working through on programming electronics, which got me thinking about libraries and using them a little bit. Okay, so into the actual code. Oh, by the way, when I was installing these, which one was it went in okay? I think the OneWire went in okay, but in the yeah, it was the Dallas one didn't actually go in okay. So what I needed to do for that one, if you go into include library in your sketch folder in your IDE, you'll see all the libraries. These are all the standard ones which are kind of part of the IDE. But if you go down to the bottom there, okay, there I can see my contributed libraries. Now when I did this initially, I think OneWire was there, but DallasTemperature wasn't. So what I had to do, just really through clicking libraries, I figured if I clicked on manage libraries, and I basically went in there and I just searched, I think, for Dallas, and then you can actually just install it from in there. I won't run through the process, or this video is going to be heinously long. So yeah, libraries are great fun. They're worth looking into. You also know that it's been installed okay if you go to File and Examples, and if your library is installed okay, usually they come with examples. And again, for contributed libraries, head down to the bottom of the list, and again you can see DallasTemperature, a few examples, and OneWire with a few examples. Right, I better talk through the code because this is going on forever here at this stage. Oops, sorry, get a chair. Right, so what have we got? Top here, I'm just including the two libraries. Okay, obviously I've only used them, I need to include them in the sketch. OneWire and DallasTemperature. Notice that they have the include keyword and they're in angle brackets. There's no semicolon after them, and the H I think just stands for the header file, which you can think of as something like the tab on top of a folder. Define OneWire bus 2. That's just basically it's like setting up a pin, basically. I'm basically saying there that the OneWire device, i.e. the temperature sensor, is going to be sending its data onto pin number 2. Okay. Now some of this code at the top looks a bit scary, but I've kind of worked out that it's standard code for setting up this device. So yeah, you're just setting up an instance of OneWire here, and you are feeding in pin 2 that you've just set up, and then down here you're passing that in to the sensors library in the Dallas temperature, which is what we're going to use mostly in the code. Okay, which I'll show you more of in just a minute. And then we're just setting up low temp pin, high temp pin, so they're set to outputs down below. Okay, standard serial begin going on, and sensors begin. So there I'm just beginning the sensors library, which I passed the pin 2 to a little bit earlier on, so that's maybe a new little bit in your setup there. So that's your setup. In the loop then, okay, there's a couple of little functions from the sensors library, which again, that's in your Dallas instruments thing or whatever. So request temperatures, as you would expect, that's, as it says in my notes, issues of global temperature request. Okay, so that's basically the get. And then a couple of nice ones. We've got, I'm setting up a couple of floats. Floats because they're decimal values. My temp C and my temp F. So temperature in Celsius and temperature in Fahrenheit. So I'm using sensors again and get temperature Celsius by index 0. Now that's a 0 because you can have more than one device connected. I've only got one and it's 0 indexed. So counting starts at 0. So 0 is actually equal to device number 1, if you like. Okay, and from then on in it's fairly nice. It's all just, okay, temperature Celsius, okay, and I pass in the temperature Celsius variable I just created above, temperature Fahrenheit, and I pass in temperature Fahrenheit. That's just going to give me a little line break, and then nice little if statement. So if my temperature Celsius is less than or equal to temperature threshold, which I forgot to talk about, I said that up above. Okay, temperature threshold 20 degrees. That's why I set it as a float. Forgot about that. So basically, if the temperature that's read in Celsius is lower than 20 degrees, I'm basically saying the low temperature pin is going to go high and the high temperature pin is going to go low. So basically I'm going to see a red light. If that's not the case, which basically means we're above 20 degrees all the way around. And that's essentially it. Apologies for the slightly long video, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about libraries. Probably talked too quickly about them, but there you go. Anyway, and the main thing is, as I said, it works. So let's just, I need to upload that again, just get it working. Thank you. So where are we at the minute? 19. Okay, so it's a bit nippy. Let's warm it up a bit into the hand. Okay. Oh, by the way, to get the temperature threshold, I just found out what the ambient temperature was in the room. It's around about 20-ish, so then I just worked it out. So we've gone up above 20 there. Must have a very warm hand. So that one's on, and then when we go back below 20, as I showed you previously, 23, 22, 21, 20.8, here we go, there. Lovely, that'll do, bye.